Oh yeah, this is the Project Grow Show, and I'm Adrian Boysel. And man, do I have an exciting episode for you guys today. It's about going all in on your brand, all in on your message, all in on your passion, and all in on what God's telling you. We all have a mission and a purpose and greatness that we are capable of achieving in our life, but we can't do that unless we give it all to Him, let it all go. So I couldn't think of a better person to do this episode with than my dear friend Daniel Gomez. He's a fellow speaker, and he's also been part of my very first Tag Talks that we did in 2019, February 2019. So he knows what it means to go all in on your passion and your dreams and your vision. And so we're going to get into it. So Daniel, thanks for being with me today, brother.
Hey, man, thank you for having me, Adrian. I'm pumped up and ready to rock and roll. And man, I'm just full of energy and full of life today. I've been looking forward to your show, man. So thank you for having me.
Same here. I'm very excited. Got to like your background there. That's pretty cool. We've known each other now for, almost a couple years, and it's been amazing to watch you have your first book, and now you got your second book. And so we're going to get into that definitely, I think, towards the end of this. But I first want to kind of introduce you and let people know who you are.
Awesome, man. Well, my name is Daniel Gomez, and I'm just a little kid at heart, right? I have a small kid's heart. I use my imagination, and when we were hit with cancer almost 3 years ago with my wife, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about a life-changing experience. Well, I'm here talking to you because of that.
Yeah.
And since then, I became one of the top motivational keynote speakers for corporate America. I go in there and do a lot of conferences. I do corporate training on leadership, team building, and then I'm a confidence architect. I like to coach businesses and business owners, because if your business isn't growing, you're the problem as the owner or the CEO. So
yeah, it all falls on you.
Yeah, and it just as the leader goes, the organization goes, and that's rule number one. And most leaders don't really see that. Absolutely. So what are you doing right now during this whole quarantine? We'll use that word instead of saying the other word. What are you doing during the quarantine to keep yourself busy, keep yourself moving forward? Well, since we're all locked up, right, it's a lot of fun. You just gotta be innovative. The good thing about it is I do a lot of coaching, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
So I still have a lot of my coaching clients, and I picked up a couple of new ones. So it's been awesome.
Wow.
So the good thing is with Zoom, you're able to see people in California, like I'm seeing you right now.
Yep.
I have a client in Detroit, have another client in Florida. So it's just amazing stuff as you're use the technology that we're given. And I think a lot of it is just really gotta get out of your comfort zone in a whole new way.
Yeah.
I got that going on. I have my online coaching program that's pretty much evergreen. It goes by itself. People buy it on my website.
Nice.
And then I'm really starting my podcast, man. I'm excited. I think with this downtime, I've been talking about it for about a year now. And I think you mentioned my background. I've kind of worked on that. But I think right now, everybody out there as a business owner, you just really got to get out of your comfort zone. And that background was frustrating because I had to really articulate the image and a logo, and I'm not used to doing that, but through that frustration, that means you're growing.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And that's something you've been working on your brand. Now I've watched you evolve your brand over the last couple of years, just from the first time we've met till now, and it's awesome to see how far you've taken that and how clear it's become. The amount of clarity that you have compared to when you started is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think everybody has the opportunities. Like I think we were talking in the green room before we started. Everybody's given the opportunities, but we miss them.
Yep.
And the reason we miss them is because we have a scarcity mindset.
Yep.
And people overuse that, right? They say, "Oh, scarcity mindset." It's believe me, scarcity mindset is much more than just money.
Totally.
It includes money for sure, but scarcity mindset is this. And I want to adopt this golden nugget to start off. I want to get off with a boom, right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
When you have a scarcity mindset, you can't be a team player. You can't be a team player. And this is the reason why. When you have a scarcity mindset, you're going to be thinking like, oh man, Adrian's going to outshine me. I don't want him to get all the glory. I want to take credit for this project. I want to take credit for what we're doing.
Yep.
And that involves having a scarcity mindset. So it just doesn't entail money. It definitely includes money and finances and wealth.
Totally.
But a scarcity mindset is going to keep you from being a team player, and it's going to keep people from liking you in the long run and wanting to do business with you.
So what's the winning mindset in that then? That same situation.
Okay, increased mindset. You have to have an increased mindset is what I call it. You have to be an increased thinker. You got to think, whether you want to call it increased thinker, an abundance mindset. I would say this, you have to develop an abundance mindset is what you have to.
Yep.
An abundance mindset, because when you have an abundance mindset, there's enough praise for me, for Adrian, for everybody on the team And something that comes to mind right now, it's kind of funny, but it's reality, and everybody can relate to sports. And I'll never forget watching the finals, and I remember the Philadelphia Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
And as much money as he had, right?
Yeah.
As much money as he had, he still had a poverty mindset. Why? They never won a championship because of him. Even though he was the best player on the team, he never elevated the other basketball players.
True.
True story.
Very true.
Because he was a ball hogger. And what somebody with a scarcity mindset, what do? They ball hog.
Yep.
They ball hog the ball. They're dribbling and blah, 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 right? But they're doing that because they want all what? The glory. They want all the
exactly right.
Attention. And I believe there's organizations there, even leaders that are Allen Iversons, that they want to be the ball hogger, and they don't give their team credit, or they don't give employees credit the way they should, because they want to get the credit with whether it's stockholders or whoever they answer to. And that's the problem. That's a good example of having a scarcity mindset. I didn't mean to ramble on.
No, I love that. I think that's brilliant, and I think that is something that people need to hear, is just changing the perspective. And its mindset has so much to do with your success and your outcome, and having a collaborative team mindset. And like they say, teamwork makes the dream work, and it's so true. I mean, for what we accomplished on Tag Talks, none of that would have been possible without, if one person was missing that, if you hadn't have been part of that event, we would have been lost without you. So you were part of making that event the success that it was, and making it the hit that it was, and all the people that were transformed and changed by that was in part because of your story, your passion, and your risk. The chance that you took to become part of that was a big deal. You could have said, it's far, and this is this is our first event. Maybe I'll do it on the third or fourth event, but you took the risk, you took the chance, and now look at the fruit that's bared for you from doing this interview, to knowing and meeting and hanging out with each other in Hollywood and getting to do the red carpet thing. Just so many different aspects of that. It's just been a blessing to be able to just have you take that risk for me. Just for me alone, it's been a blessing.
Thank you. It's been a blessing knowing you too. Yeah, we did hang out in LA, right?
Yep. we did.
Think about where we're at, right? We're up there with Debbie Moore and hanging
Totally.
out.
Hold on.
Man, it was epic stuff like that. We're out there with Michael Buffer, right? Let's get
ready
to rumble.
Totally. Yep.
It's awesome stuff, but that's what you have to do to succeed in life. That's what you have to do. You have to get out of your comfort zone. And it doesn't come overnight. The biggest mistake is I see this with a lot of my clients is they do well initially because they get hungry and boom. Like just yesterday, I followed up with one of my clients. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Great. Did you do your homework? Yeah. Did you do all of it? No. Because they have one or two breakout sessions. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they stop doing the things that are getting them the results. And then next thing you know, 2 months later, they stop doing all the homework and they regress back to where they were. I'm like, look, you got to find the same passion. You got to find the same drive. I believe in myself, that I've been doing personal development for myself.
Yeah.
I would say now for probably a good 15, 17 years straight.
Wow.
But I say that because I'm 46 years old. So I was probably close to 30 when I started really doing it.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means my brain stopped growing at the age of 25. By the age of 26, I had my bad habits. I was already pretty much who I am.
Yep.
And the only way you're going to change that is through repetition.
Yep.
And you still have those, I call them those trenches, right? I call them like those big tractor tire trenches.
Yeah.
Tractor tire trenches in your brain.
Yep.
That they're so engraved in there that some of those ain't going to get out. The only way you're going to
100%
is to really program yourself.
I agree. I wanted to ask you, I know a little bit about your story from what you shared at the event, but I wanted to kind of take people back a little deeper and just hear, because I mean, being a speaker, being an author, being a coach, that's the ultimate entrepreneur, right? You're taking chances on other people, and depending your income on, your next meal comes from the other person, and depending on how the economy goes, it can be very, very scary, and it's risky business, if you will, right? So where did you go from? How did you go from 3 years ago or 4 years ago? What were you doing before to then making the leap into the speaking, author, coaching world? I'm curious.
Well, I was doing very well, actually. I was running multi-million-dollar organizations. I ran dealerships for many, many years.
Okay.
And we did really, really well financially. And you think because you have monetary gains, sometimes your ego gets bigger than who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Your ego gets bigger, which isn't good. And when that happened, with my wife, I didn't realize how big my ego had gotten, to be honest with you.
Wow.
And I had our house was paid off. You know, we had a savings account. I mean, everything that we needed, we wanted. We didn't lack anything.
Yeah.
But the good thing about me, I always had wisdom with finances, with wealth. We always lived under our means, even though we could have bought a bigger house, bigger cars, bigger this. And don't get me wrong, we have a nice house.
Yep.
But we always had the latest cars. But I could have gone and bought a Lamborghini to say, but I didn't do it because why? Like, it's like I had a Corvette. You have it for 3 years and then you get bored with it. Like anything else, you get bored with it.
Yep.
I bought 4 or 5 Harleys, you get bored of them. So I understood that. I understood that. It's like a toy, you get tired of it.
Yep.
And next thing you know, so I always just kind of saved up. So when my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, we were set up for it financially. And it was the fact that I was in the automotive industry for 20 years.
Wow.
And when I ran these dealerships, even though I only answered to the owner for I stayed at the Chevrolet dealership for almost 14 years, even though I stayed there for 14 years and I ran it, I loved training. Yeah. So every Monday I would do the training and my good friend Martin at the time, he'd be like, man, dude, you're a good motivator, man. But you never really think about at the moment being an author, being a trainer, being a speaker. Totally. Like 1,000 miles, it was like at the moon, right? Yeah. Yep. So, but I would always remember that because he told me that like 2 or 3 times, and I felt it in my heart. Wow. But I didn't know what it was at the moment. So as time went on, we would go and give out these awards for Chevrolet to high schools. And one time a teacher said, hey, the principal goes, well, will you say some words to the students? And I was like, well, no, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Like in my mind, I didn't say that, but I was thinking like, what do you want me to say? Yeah, like, totally. I'm not a speaker, right? Yeah. And then one time I felt like God whispered, what are you talking about? You train every single Monday. Can't you talk about attitude? Oh. And I was like, what? I didn't expect it there and then when I was at, because this was during the assembly at the school. Yeah. The award ceremony. Yep. And I said, ma'am, I can say a couple of words if you want me to. She goes, really? That'd be awesome. Wow. So I talked for like 5 minutes. I figured I'd talk about positive attitude or something. Yeah. Well, next thing you know, dude, I had like 20. I had 20 caps with me because I would give out these caps. I had Chevrolet on them. I'd give them to the students. Next thing you know, I had 250 kids yelling and screaming. And I said, hey, well, I got a cap. Who wants a cap? And all these kids like just bull rushed me. And wow. I had them yelling and screaming. So like 3 weeks later, I got this email from the counselor. And this is the way it read from the mom. The mom had emailed the counselor and said, well, who is this car guy? Who is this guy that does this and that? And the way it read, I was like, oh, man, what did I do? My son's running through the house, yelling and screaming. And EJ he yells loud. And I'm like, uh-oh. And he puts on the Chevrolet cap. And tell him I said thank you. Wow. EJ has never been happier. EJ's looking in the mirror, telling himself that he loved himself, that he believes himself. And man, wow. So I saved this email, and needless to say, I don't know why I saved it. Well, fast forward to where my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. After we finished part of our journey, I had to go look for a job, and I went to my tie rack, and guess what I found there? Oh. The email. The email. And I just felt like God said, wow, I want you to be a motivational speaker. And when I read it, I read the email and it just touched my heart, and I started crying. And it's powerful. I just teared up and I just said, well, and of course you tell your wife that's going through breast cancer, I want to be a motivational speaker. And she thought I was crazy. She thought I lost. She goes, Daniel, you've done some crazy stuff, Daniel, but man, this is it. This is it. Yeah. So needless to say, I read at the moment I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I did the Chief Definite Purpose. I've been saying my saying for the last 2.5 years. Every day. Every day I say my saying, and I'm creating that world that I'm talking about. Beautiful. But I didn't realize it at that time. Yeah. And we needed some money. We had money saved up, but of course, right, that scarcity mindset is there because you're programmed that way. Yep. Even though we had money in the bank, it's like, well, I needed to replenish it because we were going through money. Totally. And I was just like, well, I got a job. I lasted one day at another dealership and I hated it. You're like, this is not it. Yep. Yeah. And God says, are you ready now? I'm like, I went and got my DBA, got my business registered at the county here in San Antonio, and man, the rest is history. And one thing led to another, and here I am. I invested in John Maxwell team. That elevated me. Then I met an author at the JMT. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even, at that point when I went to John Maxwell, I didn't even want to be an author. I met this guy. I'd be like, how awesome would it be to have a book? Came back from over there. Like next thing you know, that was in March. By May, I was writing my book.
Wow. Jeez.
It's one thing leads to another, but this is the thing that holds most business owners and most people back.
Okay.
Is they don't bet in themselves. And like you mentioned earlier, you have to be all in.
You have
to be all in, because if you don't bet on yourself, who's gonna bet on you? Who's gonna bet on Adrian? Who's gonna bet on Daniel? Who's gonna bet on our businesses if we don't bet on ourselves? And most people out there, and I love helping people, and I know right now is a different time because we're serving a little bit more, because there are people out there that don't have the mindset that we do, so I understand that. But one thing that I hate is when the same person comes back and back and back and back and say, okay, guy, okay, girl,
yep,
you got to invest in yourself. Like, I'll help you once or twice, but there comes a point where I've invested over $50,000 in my personal development. Like, you have to put some money into some skin in the game.
You have to put skin in the game. And it's funny, while you were saying that, I got a word. It's crazy. I haven't, my prayer life, as you know, when we got to have that heart to heart there in Hollywood, hasn't been as its strongest, and it's something that I'm aggressively working on, because I've been doing a lot of personal development, but I haven't been back in my prayer life hasn't been as strong as it was at one time. And I just got a word, and it says, where a lot of people say, why me? I ask, why not? Why not you? And I think a lot of people say, well, why am I qualified? Why would God pick me to do this? Why would God pick me to be a motivational speaker? Why would God pick me to be an author? Why would God want to use my story? Why not? Why wouldn't he want to use your story? Anything that's going to glorify the kingdom is good work for him. And that's what we're called to do, is we're here to reprove, rebuke, and exhort other people. And encouraging other people is one of the greatest ways that we can glorify God. It's another form of worship. So when a lot of people say, why me? Ask, why not me? And that's the mindset change and going all in on yourself. And I even struggled with that for a really, really long time, as God kept putting the word on me, youth ministry. And I'm like, man, I came from a broken home. I had, troubled youth. I did a lot of bad things that I shouldn't have done. I ended up in jail. Like, my story is freaking wild, like a movie. Why would anybody want to live like and have me be their role model? And he's like, you're the perfect person. All the people that I used in the Bible were broken people. Why wouldn't I want to use you?
Yeah.
I mean, think about Paul. Didn't he murder Christians before he became one of the disciples? Didn't he deny Jesus like multiple times? I mean, there's plenty of circumstances and situations throughout history biblically that you can look at of people that are like, they were the most unqualified people to bring glory and to bring the name of Jesus to the world, and they did. They made the greatest impact. Matthew and Timothy and all these great people. So when you're asking yourself, why me? Why would God pick me? Instead, you got to flip that and ask, why not? Why not me?
Well, I was laughing because you think about when the actual biblical story started. I'm thinking of Abram, right? Before his name was Abraham.
Yep.
When he turned his back on his own wife. Think about that when the Pharaoh said, "Is she your wife?" "No, she's my sister." And it's like, but it's funny because it's like God forgives us. God moves on from that, and God takes the unqualified and makes them qualified.
Yep. And even when we're distant. When we're distant. And even though I've been distant in my prayer life, and my dialogue with him hasn't been consistent and hasn't been where it needs to be and where it should be, it's funny that people think, well, God is way off here now because I went this direction and I've turned away. But the reality is he's standing there right with you, and he's been following you. As far as you're going to go, he's going to pursue you. And I don't know anybody in my life that I've ever met that can say the same thing about anybody for their life. Like, if they were to leave you, if your lady was to leave you, like, you might chase her for a week or two, but you're not going to consistently forever, for all eternity, just going to keep chasing after and be like, I'm not giving up. But he's right there going all in on you. So if the Lord's going all in on you, why aren't you going all in on yourself?
You're right.
So I've had some fears about that, even in my speaking when I was on stage. The first time you saw me, that was like my big first getting on stage time. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, I got to come up here, I got to be eloquent, and I got to be professional. I remember just getting in my head, and I've even done that on my YouTube videos. So recently I had kind of a flip with the help of my wife, and she's like, you need to just go out and be yourself. Stop trying to be Mr. Professional. I know you want to be taken seriously, but just go be yourself. Go be your authentic you. Go be the silly, goofy, funny face, impersonations, dancing, off the wall guy. Some people won't like it, but guess what? The people that do like it, those are your people. And I'm like, all right. So my last video, I was like, scale alert, did my craziness. And it happened to be my #1 video on YouTube so far. So I'm starting to really take that to heart in a whole new way, a whole new level of just going all in on myself. People don't like it, then let them go talk about me, because that's just free publicity, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
I think that's the one thing that keeps most people from really having their businesses flourish, is because it goes to that scarcity mindset. Since we have that
rejection
scarcity mindset, something that's associated to that, that's a result of having scarcity mindset, is you look for other people's approvals, because your mind is so scarce that you can't even approve yourself.
That's
so
exactly.
You look to everybody else to approve for you, when in reality you're already approved by God. But since you're trained that way, 98% of people are conditioned that way. We have a scarcity mindset. No matter where I go speak, on the East Coast, West Coast, in our country here in America,
it's true.
Here in San Antonio and Texas, everybody knows the same thing, right? You hear it. What do you say? Money doesn't grow on
trees. Yep.
The way it is.
Yep.
The early bird gets the worm. How does everybody in freaking America know that? Because everybody's conditioned that way.
Totally conditioned. 100%.
And since everybody's conditioned that way, what happens is you have that scarcity mindset, like we were talking about Allen Iverson, and you either too overly aggressive, that you want all the glory, or you're totally opposite, where you're either the one spectrum or the other spectrum, and you got to find that balance in between. And when you find that balance and you really have that abundance mindset, then you know that, hey man, there's enough speaking engagements for Adrian, there's enough coaching clients for Adrian, there's enough work for everybody.
Yep.
And because think about this, 80% of the people in this world don't even think about personal development, but those are the people that we should be going after, and not even worry about what else. Because if you're real and you're genuine, like you said, you're going to attract the right people.
I agree with that 100%. And you think about, there are people in the basketball world, since you use that as an example, and I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I know of a couple people that are really famous. One of them, Stephen Curry. That guy is the most God-loving, glorifying dude out there in the NBA probably right now. And think about how far his career has taken off and what he's been able to accomplish and what he's done, championships and all that. I mean, he's just an amazing guy, and he gives the glory where the glory is due. And I think he just has a different mindset. It's all about his mindset. He's probably, in terms of talent, he's probably not more talented than Allen Iverson, but his mindset makes him more talented and has given him more success, because he's glorifying the right things. He's not glorifying himself, which is huge. It's absolutely huge.
Well, you can tell he has an abundance mindset, in the simple fact you know that because he don't mind sharing mistakes. Think about it.
Yep.
It wasn't, if you think about Allen Iverson, it was always just Allen Iverson in Philadelphia.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all. He never had that other team player, that like they call it, dynamic duo.
The duo, yeah. There was no Pippen. If he was Jordan, there was no Pippen. Yeah. There was no Rodman.
And if you think about Curry, since we're talking about that right now, he attracted Durant. Of course, he had his other guy. I can't think of his name right now. But,
me neither.
His Splash Brothers. I can't think of what his name is. But either way, they attracted high quality people.
For sure.
And that's what abundance mindset does, because it just attracts more people. When you have that scarcity mindset, you push everybody away. And unfortunately, I know everybody loves Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant too, he had that scarcity mindset. That's why after Shaq left, they never really attracted another great quality.
That's true.
That really meshed, because he wanted all the glory to himself. And even though he was wealthy financially, that part of his mind, he wanted all the attention.
That's true.
It just never got it. And I would say another great leader since we're on the basketball trip, is LeBron James. Look at him. He attracted, before the season ended, I can't think of his name, but the guy from the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's always done that. He didn't just do that. He did it in Cleveland, where he attracted where they had I can't think. Man, I'm going.
I can't think of the guy's name. I know who you're talking about.
But my point is this: is that he won in Miami, he won in there, but he did it with Dwayne Wade. Then he did it with over there again with Kyrie Irving.
Yep.
He did it with
Irving. Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. So that is the same thing in business, because in business, think about this. I mean, I wouldn't be on this podcast with you, and we wouldn't be talking if I had a scarcity mindset. I'd be like, oh, well, he's a speaker, he's my competition.
Yeah.
And it surprises me how many speakers, how many coaches, how many trainers, and not just in our arena of business and our personal growth development, but just in business in general.
In general.
Because it's like, oh, well, I just sent that customer over there. How can you, it's like, there's enough business for everybody, man.
Tons. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the people have to really change that. Yep, I agree.
So if your business is struggling, you really got to assess yourself is, what resistance force am I putting up against myself?
Yep.
What resisting force am I putting up for myself?
Yep.
There's always going to be resistance there. But why put your own resistance there? And what are you putting up that's causing your own resistance to what you need to ask yourself that?
So this conversation has been a beautiful transition because we started by talking about going on ourselves, which is important, but then now it's translated and going on others and helping other people. And I think that is really the most pure thing that we can do as business owners is you're here helping me. I'm here trying to bring more exposure to you, to your book, to your talents, to your gifts as well. And it's a mutual relationship. We're both giving to each other. We're not takers. And so when you have that kind of cohesive relationship, the amount of damage that we can do and noise that we can make is tenfold what we could do individually by ourselves. If I was just to do this topic all by myself and talk, I could never make the impact that I can with you. So this is the back and forth collaborative relationships. When two or more come together, right? It goes back to those biblical principles. You got to go all in on each other. And so you and I have been doing that with each other almost since the day we connected. I've just been helping each other, encouraging each other, praying for each other, rooting for each other, supporting each other. And that is the true way of God and what this kingdom here and on earth, I believe, is supposed to be about. And just brotherhood and community and discipleship, you know? Because you've been a disciple. You've discipled me, whether you've realized it or not.
Well, awesome, man. Thank you. That means a lot to me. So
That's
sometimes
true.
You don't realize it. You just got to speak from your heart sometimes. But
100%.
This is a great example because the more you give, the more you get. And it's just a loving thing. So I would say this to the business owners out there that are struggling.
Yeah.
Who can you collaborate? Who do you need to help? Who do you need to open up your heart to? Maybe somebody's come and helped you and either you judge them or you look down at them.
Yep.
And I want you to think about this since we're kind of on that business aspect. There was two great leaders out there back a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think of the pharaohs that were there, right? The pharaohs, I call it the story of two pharaohs. And you think about the story of the first pharaoh. And one of the pharaohs that was out there was the one that hired a great assistant that was his right-hand man named Joseph.
Uh-huh.
And as the leader of his organization, he knew he couldn't do it by himself. He couldn't interpret the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought on some help to help him interpret this dream. And
That's
Joseph
right.
had the knowledge that he needed to give him the strategy to save the grain for the 4 years through the drought.
Yep.
But then you have the other story of the other pharaoh, which was egotistic and his pride got in the way. And nothing's going to kill your business quicker than pride and ego. And even though they told him, hey, we need to do this, you need to release him. No, his pride was, no, I'm not. I'm going to be right. I'm going to win. I'm the pharaoh.
Yep.
And he didn't ask for any help. He just did things his own way.
Totally.
And look, he ended up dying before his time because he got swallowed up by water. Because even after he released the people, his pride got in the way and he didn't want him to get away. He followed them because of his stubbornness.
Yeah.
And no matter pride, your ego and stubbornness are always going to end in devastation for yourself, for your family, and especially for your business. And especially if you're leading a corporation of over 50 employees, if you're that, mid-sized company that's doing well and you could have another level. Unfortunately, many leaders out there, and it goes back to the scarcity mindset. Since you have that scarcity mindset, you become that dictator leadership, like that Pharaoh, the one that lost his life in the Red Sea.
And what are you teaching to people that are looking up to you, that see you as an influencer, that see you as a thought leader, that see you as an authority in their life? What imprint are you leaving on them? What legacy are you leaving behind? And so for me, like a lot of the things in our life and our business, no matter what level of success we reach in speaking and best-selling books and all, we don't get to take any of that with us. But hopefully the person that you saw at the school that wrote that letter, he's going to still be applying that mindset and that mentality and that winning till the day he's gone in his life, and he's going to share that on, and that kid's going to share that on, and it has that compound effect, and that is the true gift and beauty of life, is being able to leave that behind, and that's the reward that you could possibly get in life, as far as I'm concerned. There's no amount of money or success or fame or any of those things. And there are too many people chasing the fame and wanting to go all in just for the fame. You got to make sure that your why and that your purpose, I believe, has to be centered on something bigger than yourself. It can't just be about glorifying yourself or bringing yourself attention and becoming well known and, you know, the whole glitz and glamour thing like you see in Hollywood all the time. There's got to be a bigger purpose and a bigger reason for your reason for being on earth. And that's what I've seen in you since the very beginning, that you have a bigger calling. And now with the Mari Strong Foundation, you're putting your money where your mouth is. That's the beauty about people like you, is you're actually taking action on it, which most people just talk about it, you know?
Yes. And so besides, right, that was, we'll say that was, we'll just say that was the demon of the two evils, right? Ego, pride.
Yep.
And stubbornness.
Yep.
But there's also another
fruit of the Spirit
that keeps us from really doing what we need to do, and it's just your self-worth.
Yeah.
When you don't have the self-worth and you don't value yourself the way you should, you don't make those investments either. You're on the other side of the spectrum where you know you should be doing something and you don't do it. And you brought up the Mari Strong Foundation. I had no idea what the heck, how to start a nonprofit. I had asked a couple of questions, and just hearing the verbiage behind it, I was like, God, dude, you got the wrong person, man. Like, I know you're God and everything, but this isn't going to work. And then I went to
and you're doubting him, right? Like you know better. I did the same thing. Yeah.
I went to New Media Summit. I met this lady, real nice lady, Dr. Karen, I think was her name. Whoa, yeah, we just started a nonprofit and we did this. And she's like, well, I can help you write this. And I'm like, well, what's that? And she's like, oh, well, it's your articles and now I understand it, but I'm just like, I said, you know what? Thank you. Okay, I'll call you. But I never called her because just the verbiage that she used was just like, it was over me. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know that. So good.
Wow.
But it's funny how we look back at where we were to where we're at. And the main thing is this: once I really said, well, God, if this is of you, help me. I need people to help me because I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if I never move forward, if I never step, I love this story in the Bible about when the Israelites came up to the Jordan River in Joshua 3, how the river was raging. The river was raging. And yes, God could have done the miracle and he could have receded the water right away for them. But the thing is, then they would expect God to save them all the time, and they would never have the strength and the endurance and the character and the resilience that they need.
Totally,
And
100%.
God said, look, when your high priest steps into the raging Jordan, then I will recede the waters. That's when it happens, because it takes faith to step into the water. Anybody can be in the kiddie park.
Yeah.
Anybody can be in the kiddie park, but it takes faith to step into the raging river.
It's true.
And once the high priest stepped in there, the waters receded.
Yep. And he may not even do it right away, too. That's the other thing that you got to remember, is you may be in that raging water and you may be scared and you may be sore and you may be tired and you may be thinking, man, why did I do this? But that breakthrough is coming, and he will always deliver as promised. Always.
And this is so when you don't value yourself, when you don't have that self-worth, you don't have the faith to believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you don't have the faith, the belief to take action.
Yeah.
And you freeze. And this is what happens too, is we stop doing the things that got us there. I know a lot of business owners that were doing great, playing all in, and next thing you know, they reach a certain level of comfort where it's really, they're successful because first of all, they have a business. I don't want to downgrade. Being an entrepreneur takes a lot of courage, and just doing that is great. But we stopped doing the things that got us to say where our business is earning us, that we're paying ourselves, say $100,000.
Yeah.
Well, you get comfortable there, and then you stop doing the things that got you there. And then instead of progressing, you're regressing. And once you start regressing, it's hard to get out of that funk. And I say that because I've been there myself.
Same here.
One of the worst things I ever did was when we paid off our house. I didn't even realize it, but looking back, I had the worst attitude probably for like a year and a half. I said,
wow.
I don't need to work anyway. Screw them. They don't like
I'm retired now. Yeah.
Yeah. True story.
That's ego.
It's your ego. But so I literally lost about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. I would say 2 years because I had to come out of that funk.
Yep.
But I see that I just had that, whatever attitude. I don't need to go to work. And when you have that attitude, you don't give 100% effort. So in return, the people that you're leading, you affect your team, your employees, everybody. So
yep.
We don't realize that sometimes.
That's super important. That's a lot of, I mean, the amount of golden nuggets we've already dropped here is amazing. And I think that there's a little bit more even to share in terms of letting people know how to get involved in some of your events, because I know you're going to be doing some stuff online. But just for an example, we went last and connected at the Hollywood event. I met a guy there. You might remember him, Brian Gallinger. And he turned out to be a young actor, accomplished musician, just really phenomenal guy. He was a big part of that event and the success of that event. He's done events for years. And I almost didn't go to that event. In fact, I think it was you posting about going to the event that made me decide, all right, I'm going to do it. Because I got offered to speak there. I got offered to do the emceeing and interviewing, but I thought I was going to be with like a bunch of other people. And I was like, man, why am I going to make this investment? It's far. And I don't want to leave my family. I want to be at home. I want to be comfortable. And I didn't want to take the risk. And if I hadn't have done that, the amount of impact that made between solidifying the relationships I had with you, with Carlos Secura, and all the people that I reconnected with, Jeff Hoff, and all the people that I got to re-engage with, and then on top of the new relationships that I built, like Brian Gallinger, my whole premise and everything that I'm moving forward towards now is this youth mentorship, right? And I'm really pushing that. I got the private Facebook group. I'm recruiting people. I'm looking for young people to help. I'm putting out YouTube videos 3 times a week. Like, all my effort and energy is going towards helping these young people that need the skills, they need the knowledge. So I'm willing to share that for free without expecting anything in return. And part of my persona that I feel like I have to adopt, because it's what's inspired me at a very young age to do this, was Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is why I'm wearing the red cardigan sweaters. Mr. Rogers was my biggest hero as a kid. And there's part of me that's like the skateboarder, rock music, tough guy in me that I know is not the fruit of the spirit guy. And then there's the softy, the loving, hugging, give me a hug, play with my kids, be goofy, dance, be silly, just have the young kid in me, the creative part of me. And so it's all about, like, and I've used this in the past, of which wolf are you going to feed? And so for too long, I fed that bad wolf, the tough guy, the one who got in fights, the one that ended up in jail. And for years now, I've been following more of the heartfelt, loving people, serving God, glorifying Him, trying to do all that. And it's been a process. It hasn't happened overnight. And now, as I'm seeing things unfold, I'm starting to realize how important the foundation that Mr. Rogers laid for me and what I could continue if I choose to. And so going to that event in Hollywood has now opened up the idea to me, well, if I can connect with Brian Gallinger, who's well connected in Hollywood, well connected in the movie scenes, how quickly would it be realistic to be able to have my own TV show and be able to be the Mr. Rogers, essentially, of marketing, or the Mr. Rogers of mentorship for this next generation? Because he's gone. He had a movie, they just did a movie about him. There is no better time than now to be able to take the spirit of Mr. Rogers, to take the loving, caring, accepting of everybody, like that whole vibe around him, and take that and turn that into something real. And for that to be able to happen, I have to have influences and people and connections in my life, like you, like Brian. Brian's probably the first person that could seriously make that happen and make that transition for me. So without doing that, though, I would have never met him. That I would have still been trying to figure out a way. So stepping outside of your comfort zone and going all in on yourself, which I consider going to that event, doing that, was a huge investment financially, but I know it's going to pay tenfold long term. And I still haven't seen like a bunch of financial recuperation from that, but I know it's coming. And I have faith, and that's where that faith comes into the whole picture. So just something I wanted to share, I felt was important.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to talk about the power of the seed. Yeah. Because you sowed the seed in yourself is what you did. Mm-hmm. And too many of us I always use this when I'm teaching, is that we see that other person that's, man, they seem to be doing fabulous or doing all these things. And we're just going to say that they have the seed of the radish. Okay. And if you think of a radish plant, when you plant a radish seed, boom, the plant grows within 5-6 weeks. Yeah. Quick. Yeah, quick. So if you see that person that has that radish seed, they come up and they seem like, man, they got it together. Uh-huh. And you, on the other hand, you're that oak tree. And of course you plant that acorn, and man, that acorn takes forever to grow. Forever. Yep. But if you were to compare the two seeds, one seed is bigger than the other seed. The tree is a lot stronger, the stem, the bark, everything, and it takes more to it's a stronger foundation is what it is. It's going to bear more fruit too. So too many of us, so we want to be that, we want to see those radish results.
Yep.
But the root system from a radish is definitely not as strong as an oak tree, because I think an oak tree, I don't know, I don't want to quote it exactly, but I know it can be easily over 50 feet long. The roots go down into the ground.
Wow.
But think about that. And too many times we plant that seed and we don't get that instant gratification, which I call the radish. And we kill our own seed. So if we don't, so I say that because whatever you expect, you're going to get. And you made that seed, that we'll just say you made that, we'll just say $1,000 seed into yourself, which was more than that, but we'll just say $1,000. Well, you say, oh man, I wasted my money on that. You start cursing your own seed.
Yep.
Well, guess what? You killed it. You killed your own seed.
Yep.
Instead of saying, man, I can't wait to get my seed.
Instead of keep watering it and keep.
Yeah, exactly.
And loving it.
I say, man, I can't wait for that, for those blessings to come around. But this is another thing I want to say. Besides just the seed, the plant, how many people do you know? I mean, like I said, I've been doing this full time now, going on 3 years, and then just in the 3 years that I'm coming up on, I have seen more speakers come and go, more coaches come and go that you don't see anymore because they seem like they're doing really, really well.
Yep.
And then
they
fizzle off because they don't have the character, they don't have the integrity to support the blessings that they were given, and they wither away just like the way that radish plant does.
Because their why wasn't strong. They were looking for instant gratification and overnight success, and that's just not the name of the game. It's a long-term play. It is what it is, you know?
Well, and more important than that, though, is it's just the integrity.
Yeah.
And some of my own clients, I tell them, because let's be real, let's be honest. We all sell stuff and they pay us cash.
Yep.
And I say, look, somehow, some way, you got to find a way to report that money. Whether you put it in this, whether it goes to office supplies or whatever, speaking engagement or training, somewhere you got to include that money.
Correct.
And yes, there's sometimes I sell books and I'll sell, say, 10 books, get $100, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? I didn't give them a receipt, but let me just put that $100 towards that speaking engagement of that event. Yeah. But I report that.
Good.
And God is my witness, not to show myself that I'm just saying that because if you're trusted with the little, God will trust you with more. So if you're a business owner out there and you're not reporting all your income, you're only hurting yourself, because that's one thing that the word says is that God does not honor dishonest scales.
Wow.
And that's a good example of the radish tree, of the radish plant.
Yep.
If you're being honest with what you're making and you're trying to shortchange everything, well, guess what? Shortcuts equal a short lifespan for your business.
Totally.
So stop doing it.
100%. Man, what a powerful message, dude. Just freaking great. Jeez. Well, I think that there's a lot for people to digest here. I think that there's going to be a ton of information, but I think it's also very important that we give them some homework and give them some things to do moving forward. Some things that they can actually go out there and take action on in terms of getting in contact with you and your events and things going on. So tell them what you have coming, what's going on in the future. What are your plans?
I have a copy of my book right here. You Were Born to Fly. It's an amazing book on self-leadership, and it really helps you. You can get it on Amazon. It's an international bestseller. But this is a good starting point just to really get reprogramming your mindset on that. And then on July 24th, 25th, we're having the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. That's amazing. I'm excited about it. It's coming here to San Antonio. Okay. And let's see here. Did I lose you?
No, you're good.
The Sticker Shock Speaking Academy is coming to San Antonio July 24th, 25th. Okay. I've gone to academies myself, and one thing that academies don't give you is they teach you how to be a speaker, but they don't teach you about the speaking business. Yeah. And I myself, in the last 2 years, I've gotten booked and paid over 100 times. And I'm going to show you the strategies, the processes that have helped me get hired on stages to get those $3,000, $5,000, and $7,000 speaking engagements. Because I think you saw some of that footage on my Facebook. Yeah. That to get those higher honorariums, you got to be speaking on a nice stage. Yeah. And the same stage that I built for our business accelerator conference, we're going to build an even nicer one. Wow. Because I want to give a copy. That's part of the Speaking Academy, and it's very affordable. Think about this. You're going to get a chapter in a book. You're going to get a speaker reel that's going to give you about 2 or 3 scissor reels. Nice. You're going to have optics on a nice stage, pictures on a nice stage. You're going to get optics on the red carpet. So to get your whole website rebranded, and then you're going to be on stage speaking, and you're going to learn the actual speaking business of how to write a speaker agreement, how to respond to these email templates, where to find these gigs. I'm going to teach you all that. And I say this because when I went to JMT, I spent well over $5,000, and I didn't get a book. I didn't get a speaker reel, nothing.
Yeah.
At our Speaker Academy for the Platinum program, it's only $29.95. That's it. $29.95.
Yep.
And that includes a VIP lunch where you get to network with everybody there. And this is a nicer thing, though.
Okay.
We've already sold 6-7 tickets. But the beautiful thing about this is that I want to limit it to 40 people.
Got it.
Inside because
very
I want
exclusive.
it to be intimate.
Yeah.
I want it to be just really have those people that invest the money in themselves to really learn who they are and really teach them. So
smart.
You become a best-selling author, and you can email me at Daniel@DanielGomezSpeaker.com. That's Daniel@DanielGomezSpeaker.com.
Easy.
Or you can go to our website, which is DanielGomezSpeaker.com.
Perfect.
Go to contacts and just send me a message through that. But I definitely want to help you, and I definitely want to make a difference. If you're an aspiring speaker, or if you've been stuck and you've only been getting 2 or 3 speaking engagements, and you're not getting paid over $2,500 to over $2,000 for a speaking engagement, you need to be the Speaker Academy because it's going to help you, and it's going to be amazing. And another thing I want to give to your people is right now, text the word confident. That's CON, not confident, not confidence, confident.
Okay.
To text confident to 26786.
26786.
You're going to get a link to put your email in there. That way you can get my free training. It's 7 steps to fly daily. It's 7 steps to reprogram your mindset every single day. You're going to get a PDF with this. You're going to get emails that are going to help you. It's going to be amazing, and it's free. What? So you're going to text the word confident to 26786. You're going to put your email in there. I'm going to send you all the stuff. It's fully automated. It's amazing. And the reviews that I've been getting on that is people are just loving it because one thing that I talk about in this free training is you have to tell yourself you love yourself. And most men, most adults never tell themselves they love themselves.
That's true.
And I even had one man tell me I cried when I did this exercise in your 7 steps to fly. And it's free.
And I heard you're supposed to look yourself in the mirror when you do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's powerful. Yep.
So I believe in giving back. So text the word confident with the T to 26786, and you just put your email in there, and you'll get your free training, and you'll get the PDF, which you can print out 20, 100 copies of the PDF, however you want, and it's going to definitely help you to get your morning going every single day.
How cool. Well, this has been a wealth of knowledge. This is beyond what I was even anticipating. I knew it was going to be good, but man, we have probably done our best show so far. So I'm just very grateful that you were part of this with me, and I can't wait to get it out. I'm probably going to try to upload it today, get it out as quick as possible. So I'm glad that everybody got to meet you. Everybody that's going to watch this and hear this on the podcast, they can go to projectgrowradio.com or projectgrowshow.com. And this episode will be uploaded in the next few days. I have one other one I have to upload too. But we're going to relaunch the show on the podcast, and then this is going to go up on YouTube right away because people need to hear this. It's a part of my culture as a company, and I want my team to hear this as quick as possible. And if we all were to adopt just 1 or 2 of the gold nuggets in here, and going all in on yourself, just to recap, going all in on other people, and just believing and having faith that whatever it is that you know is your why, your purpose on earth, that no matter how scary it is, no matter how raging the waters are, you just got to go all in on it. And the rewards may not come right away, but they will come. I promise you they will come. And when they do, they're tenfold anything that you could ever even imagine. Beyond what your expectations are, they will blow your expectations out of the water. And I know that's going to be the same thing for me. So I'm not scared. I'm not fearful. And you've helped me bring some additional confidence today. So thank you, Daniel, so much. It was an honor.
No, thank you. It's an honor. To everybody watching out there, you're amazing. And remember, you were born to fly. You were born for greatness. God didn't create you to be mediocre. And if you think to yourself that you don't matter, you're wrong. You know why? Because you matter.
You do.
And your best is yet to come. This is Daniel Gomez. The Daniel Gomez Inspire saying that you're loved. We believe in you. Adrian believes in you, because if not, he wouldn't be investing in this show for you guys. So go out there and take some action, and just don't have the knowledge, but take applied knowledge and make a difference with yourself. Thank you for having me, Adrian.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, you heard it from him. We are going to be back for another episode next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. This was a lot of fun. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. As you know, we do videos every single week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time we do a new video. You can stay up to date and just keep up with what we got going on. There's a ton of value that we're bringing on a lot of different levels: marketing, self-development, personal growth, business growth, all that great stuff. So thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. Have a blessed week. Stay safe out there. And as always, keep looking up.